Okay, so let me just spill this whole saga because it's still eating at me years later, and honestly, I need someone to tell me if I was being dramatic or if I had every right to lose it like I did. I was 15, you guys. 15, and yeah, I know that sounds super young now. I'm 21 as I'm telling this, but oh my god, back then, it felt like every little thing was the absolute end of the world, and my boyfriend, he was 14. So yeah, we were babies. But back then, he was my everything. Like, you know that first real crush where your heart actually hurts when you think about them? That was him for me. We met at summer camp the year before. The kind of camp where everyone's sweaty and gross, but somehow you still develop these intense feelings over 3 weeks of mosquito bites and cafeteria food. He made me laugh. He didn't care that I snorted when I laughed too hard or that I wore those neon socks with sandals because I thought it looked cool. It didn't. We'd stay up talking in the common room, sneaking glances at each other when we thought no one noticed. It was pure teenage movie stuff. Anyway, fast forward a year. Because of our ages, me 15, him 14, we ended up going to different camp sessions this summer. Not ideal, but whatever, we'd both been chosen as helpers for a younger week. That meant we could at least see each other in passing and maybe sneak off for a walk by the lake if we were lucky. So here's exactly how all hell broke loose. I get to camp a day early with my two best friends, let's call them Ava and Jenna, and we're sharing a cabin with his little sister. She's adorable and actually kind of idolizes me, which made me feel weirdly protective of her but also grateful since she'd always fill me in on all the gossip from my boyfriend's side. As soon as we dump our bags and flop onto our bunks, Ava looks at me with this look, you know, the one where you can just tell something big is about to drop. She goes, "So, did you know about the new girl?" And Jenna chimes in before I can even ask what she means. "Yeah, apparently there's this 17-year-old who came to help out last week." I freeze. 17, that might as well be 30 at camp age. Everyone thinks seniors are gods or something. Ava lowers her voice like she doesn't want anyone else to hear. "She got really close to your boyfriend." I try not to react. Like I tell myself inside, okay, breathe, don't act jealous, play it cool, but my stomach is already flipping. Jenna pulls out her phone and shows me some texts from my boyfriend's little sister, let's call her Emily, with screenshots. The 17-year-old girl, let's just call her Maddie, had gone out of her way to hang around my boyfriend that entire week. It swapped numbers and had started texting a lot after camp ended. Just blinking at the screen like, okay, maybe they're just friends, but then Ava says quietly, it gets worse. She scrolls through more texts, actual conversations between Maddie and my boyfriend, and suddenly it feels like the cabin is spinning, like Maddie asks him if she's his best friend now. Then she straight up tells him she likes him, and he, oh god, he tells her he likes her too. No wait, he says he likes her as a friend. But then, and this is the part that made me want to scream, Maddie asks him if he would date her if he wasn't with me, and he says yes. I'm sitting there on this squeaky bunk bed while my friends watch my face for any sign that I'm about to lose it. My brain is racing. Did he really mean that? Was he just being polite because she's older? Or does he actually want to date her? Why would he say yes? Who even says yes to something like that unless they secretly want it? Ava squeezes my hand and whispers, "Are you okay?" But honestly, I'm not okay at all. The rest of the night is this blur of nervous energy. Emily tries to reassure me by saying he told Maddie he only liked her as a friend, but why even entertain that question if you're actually happy with your girlfriend? My mind keeps looping back. If he wasn't with me all night long, I'm tossing in my bunk thinking about every detail. How close did they get during that week? Did they laugh together like we used to? Did he talk about me? Or was he pretending I didn't exist so Maddie would keep flirting? The next morning over breakfast, Ava has an idea. Let's text Maddie from Emily's phone. At first I think it sounds petty, immature even. But then Jenna points out that Maddie has been telling people all sorts of stories about what happened between her and my boyfriend during camp week. We huddle together in the corner of the mess hall like spies on a secret mission. Emily nervously unlocks her phone and hands it over. Jenna types out a message pretending to be curious about what really went down between Maddie and my boyfriend. "Hey, so what actually happened with you and my boyfriend? People are saying different things." Maddie replies almost instantly, "Nothing, we're just friends lol." But then Ava pushes further, "But didn't you say you liked him?" Maddie leaves us on read for like 5 minutes before replying, "Yeah, but only as a joke, he knows that." I can feel my blood boiling because obviously it wasn't a joke. She literally asked him if she was his best friend and if he'd date her if I wasn't around. At this point, Jenna takes over again. "Did you tell anyone else something different?" Maddie gets defensive. "Nope, IDK, why everyone is making such a big deal. It should have ended there, but honestly, this is where things start spiraling out of control." Maddie apparently realized people were asking questions behind her back, and instead of owning up or staying quiet, she decides to flip the script on us. She runs straight to all our mutual friends who weren't even at camp that week and tells them a totally different version. She says we were bullying her for being older, that we were jealous, that we tried to make her feel bad for helping out with the kids, that Emily, the sweetest little sister ever, was being mean and needed to apologize immediately. Next thing you know, half our friend group is blowing up Emily's phone telling her she owes Maddie an apology for being rude. Some are even mad at me for letting all this drama happen in the first place, as if it isn't already humiliating enough worrying your boyfriend might have feelings for another girl. By dinner time, everyone's avoiding eye contact, except for Ava and Jenna, who stick by me through all the whispers and side glances. I finally cave late that night. I can't sleep anyway and decide I need answers straight from my boyfriend himself. He meets me by the fire pit after lights out, real Romeo and Juliet stuff. It's awkward at first because neither of us wants to bring up what happened, but eventually I just blurt out, "Did you mean it when you said you'd date Maddie if you weren't with me?" He stares at the flames for what feels like forever before mumbling, "No, not really." She kept asking weird questions and I didn't want to hurt her feelings. His voice cracks when he looks up. "I only want to be with you." Part of me wants to believe him so badly, to just sweep everything under the rug and pretend none of this ever happened, but another part keeps replaying those messages over and over again in my head. If someone asked me if I'd date them instead of him, even as a joke, I wouldn't hesitate for a second before shutting it down hard. Why couldn't he do the same? We sit in silence under the stars until the fire dies out. Eventually, we hug goodbye, but nothing feels right anymore, not really. For days after camp ended, things stayed tense between us even though we tried pretending otherwise over text. All our friends kept whispering behind our backs about what really went down, not knowing who started what or who should apologize to whom, or whether Maddie had crossed some unspoken line by going after someone younger who was already taken. Looking back now 6 years later, it feels insane how much drama came from one text conversation, but honestly, it changed everything between us forever. You know how people say trust is like glass. Once it cracks, even just a little, you never see through it quite the same way again, even though we're still together now. Crazy, right? Sometimes when things go quiet or we fight over stupid stuff, those old doubts creep back in. Would he still choose me if some other girl came along who was prettier or funnier or older? Would he still say all those sweet things? Or would he hesitate again? Am I crazy for still thinking about something so small from when we were literal children? Or did that moment show me something real about how fragile trust can be, even when two people love each other? And now let me tell you how everything unfolded after camp, because trust issues don't just disappear overnight. Not when there are leftover group chats buzzing with drama every single day. After coming home from camp, I basically became glued to my phone, hoping for reassurance from him. It was pathetic, really. But every time his replies were short or delayed, I panicked, thinking maybe Maddie was texting him again, or maybe there was some new girl waiting in the wings ready to swoop in if I blinked too long. Eventually, one night while scrolling through Instagram stories, I saw he'd liked one of Maddie's posts. It wasn't even anything special, just her dog running around at sunset with some grainy filter slapped on top. But seeing his name pop up under likes felt like getting punched in the gut all over again. I called Ava immediately. "Am I losing it, or does that mean something?" Ava tried calming me down. "He probably just tapped without thinking, but honestly, you need answers." That night, instead of bottling everything up, I sent him a wall of texts, pouring out every insecurity rattling around inside my head. "Why did you say those things? Do you actually care about Maddie? Are you bored of us?" He called right away, sounding exhausted but gentle. "I swear nothing is happening with Maddie. I haven't talked to her since camp." But then, because teenage boys are allergic to emotional conversations, he said something so typical. "Can we please just forget about this?" Forget about this, like trust issues are some stain you can scrub away after one awkward phone call. Over time, things sorta went back to normal, but never fully. The way glass never glistens quite the same once there's a crack running through it. Every birthday or anniversary since then, I'd catch myself wondering, would someone else tempt him away someday? What would stop history repeating itself? When we went back to camp together 2 summers later, the same cabins, same mess hall smells, I caught sight of Maddie across the field visiting as an alumni helper. She waved at both of us but only smiled at him, a sly private smile meant just for his eyes. It took everything inside not to storm across those fields demanding answers all over again. But instead I played it cool, stuck close by his side, laughed extra loud at his jokes so she knew exactly where his attention belonged. Afterwards, in our tent while everyone else slept, I finally told him how much everything still bothered me. "I don't know how not to worry," I whispered into his chest while pretending not to cry. "What if someone comes along again who makes you wonder what life would be like without me?" He hugged me tighter than ever before and promised nothing could change how much he loved me. That sometimes people say dumb things when they're scared or put on the spot, but none of it ever meant more than what we had together. But deep down, even now, I still wonder if words spoken when no one else is watching reveal who we truly are underneath all our promises and pinky swears. And honestly, part of growing up has been learning how much baggage we carry from these tiny moments. The way one careless sentence can echo forever in your head no matter how many apologies come after. Sometimes late at night when we're lying side by side scrolling mindlessly through our phones, I'll catch him smiling at something, a meme from an old friend or some inside joke, and I'll feel this wave of panic crash over me all over again. Is there someone out there he'll confess secret dreams to? Someone who's braver than Maddie, someone who won't wait until I'm gone before asking, "Would you pick me instead?" I've asked myself more times than I'd ever admit aloud. Am I overreacting, or am I finally seeing how easy it is for trust to slip away once you've glimpsed how fragile love can really be? And here's the wildest part. I've never truly forgiven either of them, not fully, not Maddie for testing boundaries or my boyfriend for failing them, not even myself for staying after everything went down. Because what does that say about who I've become? Am I stronger now because I stayed, or weaker because I couldn't walk away? Every time someone asks us how long we've been together, I smile politely, but inside it's always since camp. And also since Maddie. It's impossible not to measure both milestones equally. Even years later, they both feel huge in totally different ways. I don't bring up Maddie anymore, not openly anyway, but sometimes I wish I could go back in time and warn 15-year-old me what loving someone really means. Because sometimes love isn't fireworks, it isn't even loyalty. Sometimes it's holding onto broken pieces, praying they'll fit together again someday, and living with all those tiny cracks forever.